Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we have a lot to talk about investment strategies, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sorry I'm late on this SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream, but we had hospital duty. We had appointments today, so I just now got back. So once again, thank you so much for being here and welcome. Tonight, we have investment strategies when you need the financial literacy and financial information because all hell is breaking loose. Nothing is predictable at this point except one thing. That one thing is those that invest always will stay ahead in a capitalist system. So that is what we do and what we're going to be talking about tonight on the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, thank you so much for being here. And there's a few things that I have to do while I'm doing this tonight. So there may be a little things that's happening in the background, but nonetheless, thank you so much for waiting for me. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you share the videos because you never know who's out here trying to find out information, who's out here not even knowing they need information. This is what we have to talk about, right? Now, let's get down to it. Today, it looks like the stock market, well, looks just like a regular old day, which, as they would say, that is not a bad thing. Hold on, I need adjustments here. It's not a bad thing, but once again, gives you an opportunity to make sure you're in the stock market. Make sure you have your investment strategies together because it's going to be a wild ride. You don't know what's going to happen. If somebody can predict what's going to happen financially in the next year and a half, please make a comment down below because there is no way you could have figured out there's going to be this wild of a ride, volatility, and then is there going to be calm? EV Place is here, an investor in the stock market, in the real estate game, and who knows whatever else. Because once you start investing, you generally investing in several different categories. And welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline this evening. Good evening, everyone. I hope you all doing well. That's right. Hopefully you're all doing well. Do you guys know what's happening out here? All kind of havoc, all kind of chaos worldwide because we are now in the age of information that's going to be skewed. Does people know that there's a war over in Yemen? United States is bombing people there. The rest of the world does. The United States citizens, you don't see this on TV late night, right? So therefore, lots of things are happening around the world that could isolate America again for supporting mass murders. This is crazy. And that leads to other things down the line. If you don't have the information, then you don't understand why another country would treat United States differently. You don't know why they're going to say, well, forget you guys, or why we're going to be friends with you. You need to be abreast of everything worldwide. Therefore, you get to stay ahead of the curve. All right. Now, we do know you can forget the housing that's going to save you. There's nobody coming to save you, as we talked about on Friday night. The housing market, you're not going to be able to all of a sudden get a loan at your house went up $200,000, $300,000. You can get a home equity line of credit and all that stuff. The only way that's happened is if you bought your house in 2023 and before. After that, if you bought something after, you have hardly any equity. It hasn't really moved up because nobody's out here buying homes. So that right there is what the problem is. There is no escape at the moment. And I don't know if there's going to actually be an escape hatch open for down the line. So everybody ought to be, you're going to have to be happy with the 7% or 6% or 7.5% mortgage rate for another 8 months before you can even think about refinancing. So you're locked up with a debt that you're going to have to pay off regardless of the values, regardless of anything. So therefore, we need you to start thinking about other investment strategies with any other disposable income that you have. Here we go. I have fifth special. I've checked all YieldMax ETFs and I have 4 for you. Made 7 to 8% its last dividend session. Now, when he's talking about YieldMax ETFs, he's talking about these dividends are most of the time every month. So if you're talking about every month dividend session, or are you talking about, if he's talking about every 3 months, a dividend session? Or is he talking about annually? And I'm going to tell you, he's not talking about annually. I already know that. If you're not familiar with YieldMax ETFs, I suggest you go over there and find out what they're doing. It's option income trading off of the major stocks. So for instance, if you have NVIDIA, NVDY, for instance, they do option income trading on NVIDIA stock. So whatever they make from the option income trading, they share with the people who buy NVDY with YieldMax ETF. NVDA is the actual stock, but it has nothing to do with the actual stock other than the option income trading. The dividends are dispersed to everybody holding NVDY every month. All right. So now look at here. TSLY this is what he's referring to. TSLY. Again, that's Tesla. The swings Tesla's had. Again, option income trading. There's going to be a lot of it. CVNY, I'm not familiar with because they all of a sudden sprung all these different YieldMax ETFs. I mean, they're shorting the stock. They're adding stocks. It's crazy. SMCY is one of those hidden gems that's doing also, it's doing crypto and stock. But again, option income trading. And that's one of my sleeper cells because it has reduced its stock price, but man, the dividends are hefty. So that's why in MARO, I am not familiar with at all. Yes, every month. Exactly. Those are monthly ones that he has shown on the screen, courtesy of EV Place. And that's why you should bring a pen, pad, and paper. And if you don't think this is good, 7 to 8%, whether it's I'll put it this way, it doesn't even matter. Even some people would be happy to 7 to 8% for the year. Never mind if somebody said to you 7 to 8% every quarter, you would still say, wait a minute, 24% annually? You'd still be like, no, you're lying. Most people would say that's not possible. So now we have 7 to 8% per month. I know you start talking about 30% to 40% annually, you start losing your mind. And I have something else to say about it too, because there's a lot of monthly dividend stocks that give like 2, 3, 4% with YieldMax ETF, and also the Defiance Group. And I always got to throw in IWMY as well, because they give weekly payouts, which is awesome. And they also give out, whether it's 0.5% to 1%, that's still great weekly. That's incredible when you think about it, right? So that's what we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest you go to YieldMax ETFs and go check it out. There's something I have to do here because let me see, I dropped something. Hold on, my mouse. That's what I dropped. I need the mouse. The reason I need the mouse is so I can add to this live stream. All right. Let's see who else is in the house. Thank you so much. SMCY does have to do with semiconductors. Thank you for getting that out there because I just let it sit because it does great dividends, ladies and gentlemen. Dollar cost average should be down. Keep buying a little more to get it down because it's well under what it was just 3 months ago, the stock price. And you get additional revenue from the dividends every month. It's a lovely one. Post-retirement travel. This is what I'm talking about tonight. This man, another investor's here. He's no stranger to the investment strategies and his portfolio making do for him and his film. And Lelia. All right, let me see what post-retirement travel has to say. But first, welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And Mr. Worldwide is here. He says, hello, all. Let's do this. That's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen. Just plain and simple. You never know what's going to come out, but it's always financially beneficial to you. You have to do the research. And that's why the investment strategy for tonight. Are you ready for the financial future, ladies and gentlemen? Because again, here's the bad news. Once again, I put in a title, but it's not going to come up on YouTube. The last title of the last video comes up. So therefore, I cannot fully remember what the title of this was supposed to be until I log out. But nonetheless, it's Money Making Monday, and you have investment strategies to figure out for the rest of the year. It's already the first quarter's over. The first quarter and 1 month is almost over. What are you guys going to do? 1 year, 8 months is all you have left. And again, we have a lot of people sleeping out here. A lot of people are sleeping, but we'll get people awakened here shortly. EV Place, Eric, those weekly ETFs have higher expense fees comparing to monthly. You're right about that. That's why they did it, by the way. Exactly. Their expense fees cut down on their dividends that they used to give out monthly. And you're exactly right. But I will say one other thing, though, that in their defense, the YMAG, the YMAXs, the ULTYs, it seemed to have stabilized the stock price instead of a drop of 10 to 20%. Now it stabilizes pretty much. So that's on the other side of the fence. I guess that's kind of good. So I can't be mad at that. So yes, I agree with you 110% on this. And that's what investors do. They look at expenses. All right. Post-retirement travel. Let's see. He says, we're back in Columbus, Georgia. Have a contractor doing some work on our rental property. I have to inspect tomorrow before returning to Florida. All right. Well, enjoy Columbus, Georgia. How's the weather there, man? It's got to be awfully nice. I'm pretty sure it's got to be that perfect springtime weather down there, man. So I'm sure you're in no rush to rumble on back down to Florida. You could hang out anywhere around there right now. So very happy to hear this. But let us know if you want to give us some information on what the contractor has to do, because it could help people understand the price of ownership, the price of having a rental property. And your rental property, if I'm not mistaken, was a long-term rental, so it's month to month. So it's not like you have high turnover on the short-term rentals, which actually month to month is better. Not so much wear and tear every time you open a door and there's new people doing all kind of crazy. Then you have another person on short-term rentals, or even if people just stay there 2, 3, 5, 6 months, or even a year. If you even have yearly turnover, there's things that happen. So if you want to share with us, that would be very, very helpful, because there's a lot of people who do not understand. They just think I own a house and I can afford the mortgage and the insurance and the whatever property tax, and they're thinking, well, that's it, I'm good. But no, ladies and gentlemen, the reason I'm asking him if he's going to share with us is because it's very simple. Just 6, 7 years ago, it would cost X amount of dollars to fix something. Now I'm hearing crazy numbers from people out here when they need something to be repaired. I can't believe the numbers. It's like over $1,000, $1,500 is no big deal for minor repairs that in the past would have been $300, $400. That's it. So this big swing, it could just be here in Cali, but I mean, this big swing at how much people are charging to handle repairs at a home is off the charts. So you can't be playing around. You're going to need streams of revenue. You're going to need investment strategies for your future. There is no way around it. Okay, hold on a second. I have to do something while I'm talking about that because we have another a family member who's actually selling their house, and they have an inspection. So, from what I understand, I didn't hear it. This is secondhand. From what I understand, they have a septic system and they have a septic inspection. Now, these inspections, I don't know who pays for them when you're, selling. Traditionally, the buyer, I guess, can pay for it, or that you can negotiate. But nonetheless, I don't even know how much that costs anymore. That used to be something like, okay, 150 bucks, 120 bucks, 100 bucks. I don't know how much that costs. And if a septic system needs repair, how much is that going to cost? Or forget about the replacement because that's thousands. All right, he's going to be great with this. Let's see what we got to say. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Your investment strategies, you have to think about, are you going to have any revenue coming in? You're going to need revenue. I'm in the process of fixing a garage wall. Cost of materials, $500. Materials, $500 cost of cost of materials, $500, cost of labor, $1,500. With me as a helper, he has this is what I'm talking about, $2,000, and he's helping. That's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. The price of you not being able to do something yourself is a major situation. So again, maybe EV Place here, he can actually, maybe he knows how to fix whatever needs to be fixed, but him himself is going to take hours, days. You don't know the length of time it could possibly take for an individual. So he has a deal where he's helping somebody out. That's sweet. That's crazy. That's awesome. Because again, if he doesn't help, what's the cost? Is it $3,000, $3,500, $4,000? Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about, he says, a garage wall. Now, garages are built differently depending on which area of the country you live in, but generally it's a 20 by 20. Is that right? 20 by, yeah, that's about right. 20 by 20. And if it has 2-car garage. So you never know the space and the repairs that are needed. But I don't think, see, for me, $2,000, 500 cost, 1,500, and he's helping. Even if I had to pay 2,000, it depends on what it is, right? If I have to pay and if I have to help, fine, that's my break. But if I don't help, maybe the guy said 3,500. Maybe he has said $3,000. Maybe he said 2,500. But either way, I don't want to pay any more money, so I'll be out there helping too. That's how we have to do it, because otherwise, this is an expense that I've always told people here in the SSN Nation that you guys forget about when you're selling your house, right? When you're calculating how much your house is worth, you forget about the repairs. So it's repaired in 2025. You sell your house in 2032, and you go, well, I made $300,000 as an example. But you forget about, well, how much did all these repairs cost? How much did your insurance cost? How much did all this other, your property taxes cost? You just dismiss it like it didn't happen. And I'm sitting there telling you, if you own a house long enough and you're paying property taxes and you're paying insurance, you forget all about you're paying like an extra $2,000 per month in some cases, $1,500 per month, $1,000 per month. That's $12,000 per year. And then you go 5 years, that's 60 grand. My house better go up. Well, it doesn't better, but my house, I hope, would go up 60 grand just on that alone. And then never mind the mortgage stuff with the interest. That's even crazier. But this is my point. You have to start thinking as a person that is the CEO of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Post-retirement travel says, and I thought EV Place was post-retirement travel responding at first. We are receiving the lease and plan to raise the rent by 500. Well, you can. because you were saying the person that was a previous tenant was awesome for all these years. Basically, we've been renting the home for way less other homes in the community. If you're renting, make sure you do comps every year. Exactly. But you were being nice and kind because you were saying the person was renting, wasn't a problem. And so you were basically just good. And so that's cool. And so the new person, you get to up the rent by 500 and I'm pretty sure that's still probably below because over the last 5 to 10 years, rents have went up way more than 500. So I'm pretty sure somebody's going to be getting a deal, and that means you'll probably get a great tenant as well. My neighbor is a carpenter. That's great. Let's see. I'm not. My garage is 36 by 24. Nice. Nice. That's huge. 3-car garage type. Okay. Nice, man. Um, and if that's a deal, well, that's all right. Post-retirement travel says we're painting, doing roof repair. I found a contractor from Guatemala and was able to do everything for 4,500. Others were charging me $7K. You have to negotiate, team. You ain't lying. Good God Almighty, that's a swing of over $2,500. Sheesh. Well, lucky for you, you found the Hispanic contractor from Guatemala for 4,500. But this is again, he's illustrating. Thank you so much for sharing that post-retirement travel. Because all the homeowners who used when they hear me and I dog owning a house, which I mean, it's each his own. But my thing is, everybody just dismiss these costs when they sell their house. They forget that it cost them, like in this case, $4,500 to do what that needed to be done. They forget that you had to buy a new dishwasher. You forget that you had to buy a new fridge. You forget that you had oven repair, dishwasher repair. You forget your AC unit went out like 10 years ago and it cost you X amount. All that is like, oh, it's all forgotten. But me, I've never forgotten that. I was just like, man, how much have I spent since I've lived here? And so am I even getting back? The profit is nice, but I've lived here 5, 6 years and it cost me, I don't even know, but let's say it cost me like 50 G's with my insurances and property taxes and all this. So my house goes up 100 G's and I sell it and then I paid $50 to $75,000 out of my pocket. And then when we start adding in the interest from your mortgage, all of a sudden it's like, well, my house should be. Thank you very much. I have a net of 20 G's in reality. I don't really have 100 G's. I bought the house at 500. It sold for 600. I don't have 100 G's of equity in reality. All right. And that's where investing comes in, ladies and gentlemen. A waterproof plywood is $40 to $50. Oh yeah, waterproof. I approve that upgrade. If you're going to do anything, get the real deal. Not only the repairs, Eric, it's also the trip from Tampa to Columbus and back that you have to deduct. Exactly. Thank you so much for bringing that up. I forgot about that. That's exactly right. Everything that happens that people do not even think about, and that's one of them that I've never even mentioned. I forgot about it too. When you're going around doing things like that's another thing. Like time is money, but because you own it, you say my time is not valuable because I own the place. You have an excuse. The banks love to hear that type of excuse because all you have to do, the bank only needs you to be one of those 100 and some thousand people that work for the federal government that got laid off, cut, resigned, fired. And now 5, 6 months later, you can't pay your mortgage. 5, 6 months later after that, they're in foreclosure. See, that's what they love to hear. You're at risk for 10 years, 15 years, 30 years generally. But guess what? While we're talking about financial investing strategies, I'm hoping none of you decide to get a 40-year mortgage because you know that's going to be a standard. It's already been done, but it's going to be one of these things where all of a sudden you're going to be seeing these 40-year notes because the property values, that's the only way it can artificially increase. Just like cars. That's why they do 6-year, 7-year, 8-year, 10-year car notes now as a norm. Because the longer they can extend you out, the lower your price is. But all that interest racks up, ladies and gentlemen. That is the problem. So, what are you going to do? Investment strategies. That's what we're talking about today. Investment strategies. I'm going to say this for 2025. No. I'll just do it simple, even though this isn't what it is, but I'll just do investment strategies for your future. All right. Well, I'm going to give you guys something that money can't buy. First of all, EV Place, he's already mentioned it. If you need anything, if you can do it yourself, you should try. That's what I'm going to say. Number one. So that's part of investment strategies, because any money that you can keep in your pocket that you can deploy for a business that you can buy into, or stocks or bonds or gold or silver or crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum if you're going to deal with crypto, but anything that you can use to deploy into an investment strategy so you get money back without having to work for it, that is a win. All right. So your future needs that. Think about it, just like your health. Health is wealth as well. By you not being ill, you not being sick, that means you're able to do things because you're not going to have that insurance deductible. You're not going to have time, energy, and effort doing nothing that's going to increase the value. You need that money saved. And that's what's very important right now. This is the next 1 year, 8 months, and for probably the future. The world has changed financially. Global markets are being restructured. So countries, if you decide to isolate, then they're saying, okay, this is like, we're used to it. This is what we're going to do. So when you have tourists shunning coming to America, 20% decrease from tourists coming to America. Again, America has a tourism ecosystem as well, right? So our national park was basically $2 billion, $3 billion to run, bringing in 15. Wow, I connected. I thought it was good. I connected for a second, but then it went to a sign screen. Man, it was cool. All right. Anyhow, now I lost my train of thought. I'm in the process, garage wall. Now I got a printer, waterproof. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm keeping every single bill. Oh man, now yeah, we're talking about housing. Actually, this is one of my pet peeves right here that he's talking about. So I'm saying I keep every single bill for. All right, we're back. Okay, this is one of my pet peeves right here. One of my pet peeves is that people who own homes do not understand some of your home expenses are deductible. That's just a minor thing. The second thing is, you know what it's like when you buy a home and the owner says, hey, I'm glad you, well, not the owner, but the realtor says, yeah, the owner left a book here for you. And you open the book and they actually have everything there. The warranty for all appliances, the homeowner, the home appliance, insurance. They have all the expenses for everything they've done, the AC, the heater, the air conditioning, any plumbing. They got it all. It's just like anything else. When somebody has a record of every repair, everything they've done to the house, and it's laid out for you, and it also shows who actually worked on the home, and you have all the receipts, your house gets to sell at a better value, by the way. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad you brought it up because that's one of my things when I actually buy a house. I ask the owners or the realtors, and I just say, "Hey, do they have a record of all the repairs for this home?" And if the guy says yes or the realtor says yes, that gets my antennas up. That I'm like, hold on, I already like the place, but all right, now we're talking. Now I can seriously look at this. When an owner, just like in a vehicle, when you're buying a car and the owner goes, well, I don't have no records of anything. That's the same thing as when you're buying a house. I don't have any records of anything. Are you serious? To me, I'm like, well, then that's automatically a no for me. No matter how much I love the house, because it's still a box that you're going to live in, right? I don't really care. I'm still like, okay, I'll find another house, but there is no way I'm buying a house when the owner says, I have no records, because that means I have no basis for anything. So I don't know if they're selling it for, there's a repairs that need to be done that I don't know about. My inspector comes out, he sees almost everything, but inspectors, they don't even 100% see everything. But it also helps out from a point of, for you, when we start talking about homes, is that my other pet peeve is people neglect their AC and heater systems. They don't get a checkup every year. You're not going to pay. It used to be like 59 bucks, 49 bucks. I don't know what it is now. Probably 100. I will be finding out shortly. And probably in about another year, because I got a house that we're going to probably need to go look at, right? Look at some of the systems, because I know my mom didn't do stuff and my brother didn't do stuff. I know these guys neglected it because it costs money. And I don't know how much it costs. But that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to you need your systems running the most efficient that it can be, so you're saving on your bills. See, that's what people think. They go, well, I'm not going to, don't fix my furnace right now. Can you tweak it a little bit so it lasts a little bit? Yeah, I'll clean it out. I'll do this, that, and the other. But you really should replace that. You say, okay, I'm not going to replace it right now. But see, the trade-off is your bills are higher. Your heating bill is going to, anything that uses hot water now, it's going to be higher. You don't know if it's higher by 25%, 30%, 50% until you actually fix the situation to be its optimal performance. And so therefore, that's where people also lose out on. Just like when people do not do chimney sweeps. You have a chimney, you have wood or one of them logs that you can buy at the store and put them up in your chimney. They don't last forever. So there's chimneys. People don't even have a chimney sweep come and clean out their chimneys, their fireplaces. And that's a very dangerous situation. But people don't think that. They just think it lasts forever. But no, it's heat. Things kind of sear and simmer and burn. And sometimes the chimney sweeps finds out there's a problem before your house burns down. I mean, this is the type of thing that a lot of people omit and you forget about. But that costs money. That also used to be under $100. Used to be like 79 bucks, 80 bucks, something like that. I don't know how much it is now, but I can imagine it's probably double that now. But the point I'm trying to make is these are the expenses that people have to, so you can keep good money in your pocket that you can use to invest. Because if something happens to your chimney and it melts down, now all of a sudden it's not just some freaking $100. All right. You're going to be spending thousands. All these things, your AC system jacks up. Now you're spending what, 8 grand, 7 grand to put in a new AC. I mean, this is what is going on, and this is how people stay. Joe Nay, another investor, is here. He's in the DR, chilling right now. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And he brings his tagline today. What's good, everybody? Everybody's good. I'm hoping had a great weekend. How is everybody tonight on this Money Making Monday? Everybody should be going good tonight, because you guys know every Monday, those investments that you have made into those weekly ETFs, They are buying, reinvesting the dividends in most cases. And you got to love it. More money, more money, more money. All right. EV Place. He says in 40-year mortgage and 3% property tax, you ending with nothing. Exactly. Exactly. You got that right. It's going to be very, very bad. Jonay says, I just smashed that like button. Thank you so much, man. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure everybody smash that like button. Don't let anybody in the YouTube streets not know that you're here. And furthermore, share the videos because you never know who's out here needing some information. Uh-oh, hold on. Hold on. Mic check, mic check. Got a mic. Uh-oh. Oh, we got a problem. What happened to the mic? The audio just went poof. Let's see what happened. Check, check, mic check. Can you guys hear me? All of a sudden, audio went out. I just smashed the like button. Brian P. Mr. Dividend has arrived. Welcome to the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. And I know you're doing the salsa dance today, Mr. Dividend. I know you were, because you have hefty dividends. That's right. This man, thousands of shares of ETF stock. That is incredible in itself. And in some cases, could be thousands of dollars a week, a month in dividends. Crazy good. I love it for him, his family, his future. It could be secured. Post-retirement travel. And oh, by the way, I didn't get the taglines. Happy day, Eric. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hopefully, happy day to you as well. I got this. And happy day, SSN family. He says he also smashed the like button. Thank you so much for that. Gave it a one piece. Greatly appreciated. Making repairs and updates. Why is that doing that? Making repairs and updates to your rental property is an investment. It's a write-off. Exactly. As long as it's an investment property. There you go. Exactly. Actually, if you're a homeowner and you do repairs, some of that could be written off too. But especially if you invest. That's why a lot of people invest in real estate. Because now they turn that's a business. So now when you're doing the repairs, that's a write-off against your revenue, which is a winner. That's why people invest in real estate. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Making repairs and updates to your rental property is an investment. Don't see it as getting yourself in a hole. We're multiplying the dollar bills. Exactly. So thank you for clarifying, because he's talking about rentals. That's a great situation because you don't live in it. Somebody else is paying. So therefore, they're paying for your expenses, which is the reason why people invest in real estate. If you own a home and you live in the home is what I'm referring to as you're paying all these extra monies. But a difference is why an investment strategy has always been buy real estate. Because any improvements, any upkeep, anything is deductible against the revenues from the property. And there's other factors that a lot of people do not realize. You can get depreciation and carry it forward. I know. This is why the wealthy, if you missed Friday night and you had the wealth test, the wealthy own real estate just for these purposes. They will purposely lose money in real estate and have a tax accountant go, well, how much do you think that was that we lost? And they go, well, we could have rented this out for $5,000 per month. It's $60,000 per year. But we're going to F that off because we need to we'll just leave it empty and we'll call it a $60,000 loss. And then we have a $25,000 tax burden. But you know what? Why don't we just carry it over a few years? This is what they do, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why the big boys buy commercial properties. And this is also why the big boys decided to buy residential properties. until they ran into a situation that they're like, wait, hold on. We have $7,000 a year for insurance coverage, or the inevitable one. The insurance company says, we're not insuring this property. And they're like, hold up a second. If something happens, we get nothing. No, we don't want these properties anymore, because there's no way for them to get their money back. So they're going to sell them. So there's all kind of things that can happen, and that gives you opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. It's that simple. Oh, by the way, you know how I always say, you've heard me tell stories about how I'm talking to somebody and then they say something and then all of a sudden I start doing that as a business, right? I can't really say what just happened the last few days. I was talking with the wife and we were talking about insurance, and I was saying, man, this is ridiculous how much people have to pay for insurance. And we were talking about, in some instances, how insurance companies will not cover or don't want to give people insurance coverage anymore, flat out. Even though there's literally, they're just like, well, you're in this zip code, or we flew over and saw some drone footage and we just don't want to insure you. They don't even really need a reason. So we were talking, and as we were talking, started saying, which I can't really say. We started saying, like, you know what you could do is I think I can actually cover it, but I can use a different insurance company type of coverage. And she's like, wait a minute. And I said, exactly. I said, hold on. I said, I can't believe it. I think I just came up with something that's brilliant. I said, I haven't checked it out since Saturday, but this week I'm going to be on it, because this would be what I love as game changers. Ordinary citizens can have coverage. It would be sick. And it's legal, of course, until the insurance companies start going, wait a minute, what is going on? But that'll be 3, 4, 5 years later. They'll be like, what's going on? We're paying out on these insurance payments for these homes when we show we don't even cover insurance in this block. Oh man, don't let me be able to figure it out, because this would be another game changers for the OCs. And they would have insurance coverage a little bit differently. That's all I'm going to say right now. I don't know if it exists, but I'm about to do some crazy right now. Come out of retirement for real. I'm always down for helping the OCs. Let's see. I can't read it, but it depends, Eric. If you can make more money per hour, then I have to pay a guy per hour. Answer is simple. Yep. Per hour. Answer is simple. Yes, that is true. That is true. Very true. But that's part of the investment strategy. See, we're the CEOs of our life. Just like he's doing his garage repair. You're doing calculations. Normally, as a regular 9 to 5 worker, you're calculating anyhow what your finances and what you have to do and how you're going to cover it, right? So why not think like business for everything? That's how you should be thinking about, well, I only have $25 left this month that I can actually put towards an investment. Do it. That's it. Do it. The return you're going to get later is going to be worth it. Every little bit helps. All right. Little bit here, a little bit there. Before you know it, it ends up thousands. Before you know it, it ends up tens of thousands. That's how you have to start. Nobody says you have to come in and put down 50 G's, 100 G's, 200 G's. No. Just start. Just start. That's what you need to do. That's the investment strategy tonight. Overall, that's what I want you guys to think about. Not everybody here who's in the room tonight from the comment section. You guys already are investing. Everybody here is already investing. Everybody here is doing the salsa dance today because they got reinvestment dividends for the most part, or they took out, like post-retirement travel always gets his cash. Then he says, let me take 20% of my dividends and invest it in another vehicle, which is a great strategy too. So that's what we're talking about, investment strategies for your future comes in all different shapes and sizes. There's not just one way. I was talking about biz, buy, sell this weekend as well. Somebody says, yeah, man, do you know a place where I can actually start or buy into a business? And I'm like, of course. Actually, I do this. Stop struggling now. We do this. Go to biz, buy, sell. And he starts saying, well, there's usually some older people, they don't want to do their business anymore. I said, that's exactly what's going on right now. At Biz Buy Sell, go look and you'll see several businesses where a person says, just give me like $5,000, give me like $7,000. And you can just take over the business and I'm going to go on my couch eating bonbons. That's it. They know that you're now taking the risk. And if you can't pay them or you can't do the business, then they get the business back. But meanwhile, they're collecting checks every month with no money out of your pocket. There are things like that on Biz Buy Sell. It's incredible. If you look long and hard enough, there's no haggling. They'll just say, take over, owe me, it's $250,000. You take over and send me $10,000 per month because this place makes $250,000 per year. Is that worth it? I don't know. But all I'm saying is you have to go and look at the books, go see, go study, go pay attention, go stay there for 3 or 4 days in a row and see the traffic, make sure it's matching up with what you think you're getting yourself into. Go work there for a day. See how people come in and talk, and if people are complaining or people are being nice and courteous, or you'll get a vibe as to what's really going on if you want to get yourself into that business. Yeah, you got to spend your time and energy. Go find out. Usually, when somebody's trying to get out of something, they will say, yeah, come on down. You can hang with us. All right. So when I was going to buy a fast food franchise in Reno, Nevada, that's what I had the lady do. She's like, can't remember if it was a Burger King or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, she was going to do that too. Oh, I just get tired of working. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. And I was like, oh, perfect opportunity. I'll just give you money. So I had to go see. Now I go in and see. Now I see she's not running it appropriately. So that's my first thing. That's a plus. It's also a minus because the customers, the way they're being handled and talked to is almost like they didn't even really want the people to buy stuff or come back again. So I started seeing where I could actually do something. But then over the time, I started realizing, wait a minute, that means I'm going to have to be here in order to set the ship straight. And she's going to be sitting at home kicking her feet up with bonbons, and I got to send her a check because she just wanted out. And I was like, that's not an even trade for me. Because I was like, I'm not, it's not like I want a job. I was like, I'm not in that mode. I'm like, I just like to have fun. I can do whatever I want. So why am I going to put myself into a box where I have to be there? And in Reno, of all places. Now, the money would have been nice, yes. But my life means I'm there. Like 4, 5, maybe even 6 days a week. I don't know. It all depends on how we can turn this thing around. But I didn't want no parts of that. And I was still much, much younger. But the thing is, these are the type of things you have to think about when you're doing your investment strategies. What's good for you, right? That's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I got to do some few things back here, but let me know what you guys are thinking about for the future, because nobody wants to go out on a limb, and because there's no reason to go out on a limb right now, quite frankly. Is there? If there's blood in the streets, if there's disarray, why would you go out on a limb? You would want to go with blue chip type of investments. You don't really want to go out there, regardless if those blue chip investments could go in a Great Depression type scenario. That's why you have to be diversified on several different fronts. You can't just say right now, I'm just going to only invest in the United States. Just like I can't say I'm just going to only invest outside of the United States. You should be investing in as many places that's not in set countries the best way you can, if possible. One way, obviously, is Bitcoin, right? Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the crypto markets, there's no borders. So is that really investment though? Because you don't get anything in return unless the price goes up. So how do you play around with Bitcoin or Ethereum? Well, MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy buys Bitcoin. Generally, their stock goes up about on average 20 to 25% annually because of it. ETF, I like MSTY because of the option income trading for Bitcoin. And it's been doing very, very well. And it's been staying stable. So if you can stay stable and you can get almost 50% return annually, I'll take that. That's why MSTY by YieldMax ETFs is a great value, in my opinion. So you have your ways to make money off of money called derivatives. You have so many derivatives now. Back in the day, since there was no crypto, since there was no option income type of strategies, that's not even on the table. So you would be doing standard micro. You would be investing in MSTR, and you'd be all right. You'd be like the stock price has been going up 20 to 25% every year on average. So we're good. But there was no way to monetize it. You were just going to enjoy the 100% return, 100% doubling your money in 2 years. But you still had a equity situation where you can't tap the equity unless you sell, which you really didn't want to do. But here, MSTY allows you to receive some dividends that doesn't have anything to do with the stock MSTR, other than they're using that as option income trading and premiums and fees, and they're giving the people that own MSTY, not MSTR. MSTY is a YieldMax ETF. Their guys are handling it. They're giving people the profits, dividend holders of MSTY. So that is why it's major. You're getting the best of both worlds if you can invest in both, right? Nothing wrong with that. But I do like 40, 50, 60% return or more. You can't sneeze at that at all. MSTY also, as I've already said, has been stable with YieldMax ETFs, relatively stable. That's what you want. Stable with a high dividend. You got to love it. I don't have my phone right now, so I can't tell you what the dividend was this past month, but obviously it's been good. All right. I'm not going to be on too much longer this evening because I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. But investment strategies for your future is what we're trying to do out here. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, this has to be. Yeah. And I dropped a video earlier about my first video in weeks, only because I was up at Starbucks. But I dropped a video so I could load it up. But it was Dominican Republic, obviously, what we talked about on Friday, the tourist numbers. The tourist numbers, notice there was no Ministry of Tourism pushing it because he knows that there's no record. And he also knows anybody that's paying attention like us, because again, investment strategies for the future, we got to pay attention to where we are planning on investing or are invested in. And I need to know if we're going to have more tourists. That's the only goal. We need 9.5 to 9.5 to 10 million this year in 2025. We're not going to get there. I can already see the writing on the wall. There's no way. There's no way. Number one reason why no way. 60% of all tourists come from Canada and America. Canada and America are in financial difficulty. The citizens are. So you're not going to have that. You're going to have a downturn in citizens from the top two countries. 60% drops to 40. That's a significant number. That's hundreds of thousands of people that are no longer coming to the island, let alone new people coming. That's where we go here. We have the same numbers as 2024, which now means we have a problem, Houston, because we've already had 1,000 more units show up on the short-term rental pool. We've already had more people who's trying to get rid of their property, selling them that's been built, all of a sudden has showed up. Everybody's bailing out. You have two of those combinations going on right now. It started. I've been getting stuff I just can't even believe it. Today, 2-bedroom, 2-bath villa over in Sosua, $174,000 already built, and the beach is a 1 to 2 minute walk away. And the place was just built in the last like 3 years. I'm sitting there like, this is crazy right now. I'm seeing villas 195, 235,000. It's like 3-bedroom, 2 baths already built, not in like a Bavaro Los Corrales area or even downtown Punta Cana. It's actually more like regular old neighborhood. I mean, it's like a whole bunch of stuff is on the market that's already been built, and now you have all of the short-term rentals over 6,600 in just one province. That's not even in the whole country. That's in the Alta Gracia province. I didn't even look up Santo Domingo because you can't. Well, maybe you can. I don't know what the province is in Santo Domingo. I don't know what that province is. Hold on. Let me go look at something. Province of Santo Domingo, DR. Let's see. Yeah, I might be able to pull it up. Let me see. It's the one of the 30 Santo Domingo. Oh, Santo Domingo province. Okay, cool. So we have Airbnb Tix.com. So this is a perfect example because I haven't checked it out. I just have a free thing. I don't really pay for these, but as long as you can give me some information, that's enough. But if you have an uptick in short-term rentals and you have a downturn, that is not a good sign because we know more units are going to come online this year. 6,600 is shocking number. Shocking. And Steve Green, he's in DR. He is going around talking to people. People are telling him 4% cap rate. He says a lot of people are getting nothing more than 4% cap rate for their short-term rentals. I said, I kind of figure this, but again, it's going to dictate, it's going to matter location, and a lot of things matter. Your location matters, the amenities matter of where you're at. There's several things. But this is, I don't know which exactly area he's referring to in Punta Cana or anything like that. He's just saying he's talking to people at a 4% cap rate, which is actually 4%. That is single digits. You could actually buy a bond right now and get more. I mean, this is insane. You can buy ET, the stock, Energy Transfer, and get 7%. I've talked about this several times for the last year. If all you care about is single digits, then you might as well just buy JEPI, JEPQ. I mean, come on. Get 7 to 11%. Why mess around? Okay. So here's, oh, that's Boca Raton. Why is that? Hold on. Hold on a second. Santo Domingo. Oops. Why did it do that? All right. Oh, okay. We don't, wait, it's not giving me this. This is interesting. It only gave me it won't even give me any of that. Oh, wow. Okay. I see how they're going to do me now. I guess I'm going to have to pay to play. So it's not even on the list. Let me just do Dominican Republic. I figured if they did La Altagracia, why wouldn't they do the other one? This is interesting. This is staying inside the United States. This is weird. Okay. I don't know why this is doing this, but All right. This is something different. I've been able to do whatever I wanted in here, and now all of a sudden I can't. They're giving me Boca Raton. Okay, here we go. Wow. Okay. Let me see if I lost you guys. Oh, wow. What is this? Well, if I lost you guys, I had a little hiccup going. I don't see anybody in the comments section right now. But if I lost you, I'm sorry about that. Something went down with the system. And unfortunately, I can't get back. But nonetheless, this is another conversation another day. After I make the video that comes out in the next 2 or 3 days, the ramifications of decreased tourism to the island of Dominican Republic. The same rules apply for the decrease of tourism coming to the United States. We've already had Canadians who said we're not coming to Florida. And people don't realize what that all means. So people go, good, don't come. We don't need you. Okay, well, see, here's the thing. When they're bringing RVs down, that means they're spending money at the RV park. That also means they're going down to get food, groceries, right? So when you say, oh, we don't care, that's a lot of money, and they're staying for a month to 3 months. That's a lot of money. Gas. They're paying a lot. So when you think, okay, well, we have 1 million people coming down in their RVs and they're going to be in the state of Florida for 2 to 3 to 4 months, you don't realize how much they're influencing the economy in the state. Now, the other side of the fence, when people are flying in and now they're renting homes, they're renting Airbnbs, they're renting cars, they're the planes they're flying in on, they're paying for that, the baggage fees. All this is in the ecosystem. So if you think 3, 4, 5 million people not coming is going to be no big deal, then you're not financially efficient, because you're going to understand that there's millions. I would guess 50 to 100 million gone, poof, in the coffers for the state of Florida alone. Never mind on the way, off the highways and all of that, the gas stations, the hotels that they stop at and all this. And never mind the ones that say, okay, we're not going to Florida. We're not the ones that said, I'm going to Cali, or the ones that say we go in Texas, or the ones that say we go to Arizona. They're like, forget about it. Across the United States, that's effective. And that's what's happening. So since I can't pull up the other thing, let's do it this way. And there are Canadian citizens getting hemmed up at the border, getting detained 10 hours, 12 hours in detention centers, all kind of crazy. All kind of crazy. Here we go. Here we go. I was close, even though I didn't really know the number. In 2024, this is big. There were 20.4 million visits from Canada to the US, generating $20.5 billion. You guys heard me correctly, 20.5 billion. Again, that could be spread out over however many states, but that's still billions of dollars of revenue for United States businesses. All of a sudden, poof. So now it's down to probably 5 billion or less, because those guys are moving. They were just like, man, we're not coming to the US. And now more aren't coming because they're getting detained. Canadian citizens crossing the border who have record of them coming back and forth the last 10 years. And the Border Patrol, Homeland Security's like, oh, well, stand over here, do this. They're just like, what? They're like, F you. They pack up, turn around, and leave after they get back from being detained for the day or overnight. And I can't blame them, because I'm not coming either. If I get detained and you're acting foolish after I've been there all this time, I'm not coming back. either. I'll be like, all right, fine. I'll go spend my money elsewhere. So there's the numbers. And 20 billion is significant. And that's according to the U.S. Travel Association. So if you guys think, like Americans think, United States citizens think, oh, we don't need them. Okay, there's probably 20 billion off the table. Maybe it's 3 billion, maybe it's 4 billion, maybe it's 1 billion. Who knows how much we're going to make this year from Canadian tourism? But the fact of the matter is it won't be 20.5 billion. Is that going to hurt enough? Yes, because that means there's going to be layoffs and jobs and businesses are going to go out of business and all this, that, and the other, which people don't care about. But that just means more people that's going to lose a home, more people that's going to be looking around for food, more people that's going to need more help. And then you have the teeter-totter effect that I used to always talk about. If you have this and all of a sudden you have 80% like this and everybody's down here, nobody can be up top to bring it back to level. That's a problem. And that's where we're heading right now. So that's just the Canadian citizens. Now you have German citizens getting hemmed up and detained and put in some sort of isolation cells. Now you have Germany. The German citizens don't want to come here. So now it's going to be billions. This could be like 100 to 2. This could be $500 billion worth of problems. And that's money that's not going to be in the hands of United States citizens and their businesses. So if people don't think this is going to be a problem, then you're not understanding an ecosystem, and investment strategies have to account for all of these ecosystems. If you're going to be in the short-term rental business, the hospitality business, how much longer will you be if you're doing short-term rentals? Just saying. Because at this point, those that have a higher branding is going to get the rentals. Those that are advertising the most, those people that have the extra money, they're the ones that's going to win. Airbnb can't get them all. Even though everybody kind of goes to Airbnb, there's a thing. Airbnb has become somewhat of a toxic scenario for a lot of people. When they're getting instructions when they arrive, they're going, well, make sure you clean the garbage. Make sure you put all the dishes in the dishwasher. Make sure you sweep up. Make sure you get the washer and dryer, if you used it, cleaned up. They're getting a list. If you lose this or break this, it's going to cost you this. And people are just like, what the? I'll just go stay at a hotel. This is crazy. So you want to be in the hospitality business, but then you have instructions on telling people what to do. That's crazy. All right? Because they can go to a hotel and just leave. And they clean up. Housekeeping cleans up. So when you have this list, that's not cool. That's why I've done it my way. And again, my way is no better for my occupancy rate. The occupancy rate, like I told you guys, I am negative 80 to 90% every month. But the way I do it, we still get to make some money. That's the difference. I'm not holding the bag, so to speak. That's the beauty of it, because I had to downsize after COVID. So I had to off a lot of stuff. And so then it's kind of like, okay, I'll get friends of mine, because I've been doing this for so long, that actually have the usage. And they're starving. Because they're just like, man, I got, like this one guy goes, I got 1 million, what did you tell me? 1.5 million points. I was like, what? He's got to use 1.5 million points by the end of the year. That's going to be hard to do. But of course, if you put it out there to several different people, that may be a lot easier to do. But the fact of the matter is, since their tourism has gone down a little bit in a lot of areas for a lot of short-term rentals, they're right with me. Low occupancy rates. So he might not be able to burn off 1.5 million points. All right, excuse me. Got a little indigestion, apparently. Oh, I got something. Here we go. I see something here. Is this something that's it's the same? It depends, Eric. It makes more money per hour than I have to pay a guy per hour. Yeah, I've already read that. Okay, nothing has come after that. So if there's a problem and you guys are making some comments, I can't see. All right, just letting you know, I can't see it. So everybody that watches this, make sure you guys go get your Webull. Get your free shares of stock, all right? I've been messing around with Moomoo, and I just got to say, I'm not a fan of their software. I mean, the software is kind of weird. I'm not really liking that the software they have. Even though you can get free shares of stock, but then again, I didn't get my free shares of stock now that I'm thinking about it. So I don't know what's going on with them guys. But I'm still going to put the codes down below in the chat. All right. All three, Robinhood, Webull, Moomoo, and Wealthfront. If you want to set it and forget it on the ETF, then check out Wealthfront. That's for everybody who doesn't want to buy stocks or be in the options or do anything crazy like that. So that can help you out. And then, of course, let's go. Oh, no, I just realized I had something to do. Business-wise. That's what I was just realizing. There's some things I have to do. So, you know, we're not going to be on here too long tonight. If there's anything else you guys want to discuss tonight, let me know. But investment strategies for your future, they're all going to be assets that pay you at this point. It has to be dividends. It has to be owning a business, not startup, not starting up, high risk. It's already owning and you already have revenues coming in and you know what you're getting into. You can't take risk at this point. Gold, silver, a little bit like we've always been saying, Bitcoin and Ethereum, some of that as well. And the most important thing is you have to stay in investments. There's just no way around it. Even if we have the Great Depression, you're still going to have to stay in the investments. It's just the way it is. I don't think we'll have the Great Depression, so to speak, but I think there's going to be some fallout over time if things don't get rectified in the next 5 months. It's going to be very bad. So hopefully, and after seeing what happened at the Pope's situation, and seeing what I saw in the Oval Office when Macron came, having to correct the president with some facts, and I'm like, man, this isn't, and disrespecting our allies, knowing full well our allies are paying X amount of dollars, and you're sitting up there on TV saying, well, you know, they're not really, they get their money back. We don't, the United States. We're talking about the EU, our partners. You're saying they don't give money, and they're sitting there saying, yeah, what are you talking about? We do. You guys give equipment. We're giving money. But I love what Macron said. I love what he said. Macron says this. When our president, after he said, hey, we pay, and the president said, oh, no, you don't, he says, hold on. We pay. And of course, our president says, well, then who's going to pay us back? You guys get paid back. We don't. Macron said, and just like me, Russia started this. You need to get, Russia needs to pay us back. They need to pay restitution because they started it. Like normal, like we used to treat countries that started shit. I love when Macron said this. I was like, now we're talking. Russia's supposed to pay you back, Mr. President. Exactly. Exactly. And now he's in a box because, you know, he's like an asset for Russia. I was like, oh my. And then, of course, the response was from our president, if you believe that. I'm just like, oh my God. The rest of the world knows that's how it's supposed to go. Right? Reconstruction, everything. You have to give up something when you start wars and you end up being like, get the hell out of here. Invading other countries. That's not cool. All right. Enough about that. But all I'm saying is these are all repercussions. Our allies are now not our allies. Japan is over here talking crazy. China, which is kind of a pseudo ally, so to speak, because they never want to get into any real thing because they're spending all their valuable money on their infrastructure. And they're well ahead of the United States in technology. And now, because they got cut off from our chips, as with any country and anybody, if you get cut off, you figure out a way to still compete with what you have. And that's what China did. China said, okay, well, I guess our engineers are going to have to come up with our own software, our own technology. That's not going to be a side tracked by the USA technology. So now they've surpassed us. And now we're still acting like we're the top dogs when we're not. That's a problem. And so you're going to have to think about, when you're investing, what are you going to do if America's not America, the top dog on the economic totem pole? What if we're number 2, number 3, or number 4 going down? That means your investments potentially will not increase like they normally would. What if we go from an average of 9% for ETFs down to a 3% increase? Now, would it be worth it? No, because our inflation is higher than 2 or 3%. So now we're just staying level. Meanwhile, the rich are getting richer because they're able to buy other things, like real estate, of course, like commercial properties, and get a higher return than 2 or 3%. And they wouldn't be buying houses anymore either, because that wouldn't make sense. It's not worth the risk to rent it out at that point. All right. So that's how we got to do it and look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, don't be left out here holding the bag, because a lot of people are going to be holding the bag. The only bags you should be holding is that duffel bag of cash, and getting ready to deploy it whenever something catastrophic happens. So far today, nothing catastrophic has happened. Later on this week, I don't expect anything catastrophic to happen. I don't even expect anything to happen other than whatever the markets do. Earnings reports come out. I don't see anything other than a world. Something that we're doing in Yemen obviously is going to sooner or later going to be a problem. What is going on in Russia and Ukraine, if that doesn't get settled over the next year and a half, that's going to continue to drain resources for countries. No matter what happens, you have to be prepared. So this is why we got investment strategies today. Make sure you guys figure out your own. We'll come back and talk about it on Wednesday on our SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday night live stream. And I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much for being here when I was late. And again, I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. And share the videos. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, but that does not mean you still can't get to mission accomplished. It's pretty simple. Do not give up. You have no choice. It's going to cost more money for you to survive every month from now, whether it's 1%, whether it's 3%, but it's going to cost you. And therefore, you're going to have to make more money. No way around it. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen, but that doesn't mean hard is impossible. Anything is impossible when you put your mind to it and you make an effort. Don't give up. Come back, discuss Wednesday night, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.